All right, so it's another beautiful Sunday. Good evening and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System. We're also streaming live on Facebook, on social media, all our social media platforms. At Facebook, you can watch us at Iron Port. That's Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA Ghana, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA Ghana. On YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port Ghana, Iron Port Ghana. Our media partner, remember, is the Business and Financial Times. If you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab a copy of the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that transpired here on the show tonight. Remember, we're going to be getting interactive with you, and so along the line, we shall be activating our phone lines. But for now, you can send your messages ahead via our WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. We're going to be sharing your messages with the rest of the world. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are back shortly.
Every now and again, Goyle makes good things happen. This time, Goyle has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goyle has that sorted. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor,
I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at some of the happenings in the port and maritime industry in the course of the week. And one that really comes to mind is the fact that some stakeholders from KETA in the Volta region met management of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and the discussions were centered on the KETA port project. Plus the fact that waste managers in the maritime industry also met, and the discussion also centered on how they can be effective and efficient in the implementation of AIMA conventions on waste management. Let's take a look at these stories.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguje, has argued that the port of KETA, when constructed, will be economically viable due to the commercial dynamics in the maritime trade.
Ghana's economy is much bigger than Togo, much bigger. So if a shipping line is present in Lomé, you probably will be looking for cargo that is not coming necessarily to Lomé, but to other regions. But if you are in Ghana, you have the opportunity of even having more of cargo coming to Ghana, plus what you then have to spread to other countries. They look at a lot of things in doing so. So therefore, from the economic point of view, there is a lot of positive that KETA is viable.
The Director General of GPHA also explained the events surrounding the initial proposal Diamond Cement presented for the development of a port facility in KETA.
The feasibility report engaged them, the consultants engaged them extensively on their plans, their factory requirements and the rest, and there is provision within the master plan of the KETA port to accommodate the Diamond Cement terminal. So it's not dead.
The GPHA boss was speaking during a stakeholder meeting with the Benkwao Group, an association of indigenes and ambassadors of the KETA township, who visited the Port Authority to acquaint themselves with the KETA Port project. The director in charge of the KETA Port project, Dr. Alexander Yawedusei, said the port project is of utmost priority to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, but asked interest parties to exercise patience as such a mega project takes calculated processes to be successfully executed.
At the end of the day, after you've been able to plan well, you still need money. You need interested parties. You need anchor tenants. We are willing to listen to everybody and the ideas they can bring on the table to ensure that we will do a better project that will be beneficial to Volta region, and I now call Volta and OT regions. But for this project, you will have to unite as a family and get it done. Because if you don't start it today, who else? This is the closest we've come to realizing this project, and we intend to unify ourselves to move forward. So today's
project engineer Kobna Ofo revealed, however, that a general feasibility outlay has been done with environmental and social impact assessment pending. John Glenogo, the vice chairman of the Benkwao Group, described the engagement as an eye-opener in understanding the processes that will lead to the completion of the project.
That, yes, when you are dealing with a project of this size, you need time to do your feasibility studies, do your planning, look for your finances, before you even start anything. But naive as some of us are, they say when KETA Port and the director is appointed, then surely there must be some excavation work going on, there must be some dredging things and building of the harbor. Certain studies are being undertaken such that the viability, the environmental and other issues are looked at. And then before undertaking is done.
He doubled up on the call for patience to be exercised while the requisite background work is duly undertaken by the experts. The MAPOL Convention requires state parties to ensure the provision of adequate reception facilities in port to handle operational and domestic waste discharge from vessels in an environmentally friendly manner. To this end, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, in carrying out that mandate in conjunction with licensed private environmental waste management companies, ensure to provide efficient services to vessels calling the ports. However, these procedures are impeded by some bottlenecks born from the fragmented nature of institutions carrying out sole mandates in the port. To reach workable solutions, a stakeholder engagement has been held among these key institutions in the port on the provision of port reception facilities under the MAPOL 73-78 Convention. Officials from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Maritime Authority, the National Petroleum Authority, Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, private waste management companies, the Environmental Protection Authority met to assess how to adjust their operations to create the desired synergy necessary to implement the IMO Convention while delivering on their institutional mandate. Speaking at the forum, the General Manager Estate and Environment at GPHA, James Benjamin Gazy, explained that improved collaboration is geared at the ultimate goal of vessels being able to discharge waste at the port without delay.
We thought it wise to bring these stakeholders together and discuss openly what the issues are, and as a body or as stakeholders together fashion the way forward so that we can run these facilities smoothly without any hitches. Because the vessel doesn't want to be delayed when it comes to the port. He wants prompt and quick services so they can go back.
The Executive Coordinator for Port Environmental Network Africa, PENAF, Dr. Henry Barnes Daban, facilitators of the forum praised Ghana's port for staying in line with the international conventions and called for increased capacity building for sustainability.
The port is already on course. I mean, the port took an initiative ahead of the state by implementing the convention, so it is already ahead. But the issue is updating the skills, updating the knowledge. And then also because it affects different stakeholders to institutionalize stakeholder governance, stakeholder participation, because for sustainability governance, stakeholder inclusion is extremely important.
All right, so it's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and maritime industry on the global scene.
Dubai-based port operator DP World has launched a new digital logistics solution, Cargo's Logistics, to address complexities and inefficiencies that exist in global supply chains. As disclosed, the new platform will provide customers a single window solution, enabling seamless, safe, secure, and efficient movement of their cargo. Specifically, clients can choose from multimodal logistics options, ship freight by sea, road, and or rail, get instant quotes, swift booking confirmation, and multiple secure payment options in 3 simple steps: search, choose, and book. South Korea's Hyundai Mipo Dockyard is beginning construction on an electric propulsion passenger ship that combines for the first time eco-friendly designs with smart technologies. The ship, which they are calling a milestone in the eco-friendly market, integrates information and communications to provide a ship that is capable of smart operations. Steel was cut on October 19 for the new vessel, which is being built in partnership with the city government of Ulsan, South Korea, and the Ulsan Information Industry Promotion Agency as a demonstration project for the technologies. The vessel will measure 292 feet in length with a 42-foot beam and has a height of 18 feet. It will be able to carry 300 passengers. The vessel will be powered by a dual-fuel LNG engine capable of driving it up to 16 knots. South Africa authorities are investigating the cause of fires at 2 of the country's largest ports that have occurred in a span of 2 weeks, causing major losses and prompting the issuance of a force majeure on operations. In 2 separate incidents, fires broke out at the Richards Bay Multi-Purpose Terminal and at Durban's Grain Export Terminal at the Maiden Wharf Precinct. Port Terminals operator Transnet suspects the fires could have been caused by operational negligence by its employees and has promised to take appropriate action. Investigations are underway and a board of inquiry is being set up to determine the cause of fires.
All right, so those were some happenings on the international front as far as stories in the maritime industry are concerned. Now we're going to zoom into our discussion proper for tonight. And tonight our discussion is two-pronged. The main discussion is centered on maritime cyber security. And so we've assembled a team to discuss Ghana's new Cyber Act and its implications on maritime activities in the country. And our first discussion actually is centered on the Pink Month. That's the month of, the month of pink, October. Remember, every year it's always described as a month of pink, and that's where premium and emphasis is placed on women and breast cancer and cervical cancer. And so this evening we have a guest from the International Maritime Hospital, AIMA, Dr. Eric Kosa. He's an obstetrician gynecologist. He's going to be sharing some thoughts with us and what AIMA is doing in this month of pink and what they expect of you as a woman who is watching this show, or even a man, because I understand these days even men can get breast cancer. Maybe you give us some clarification in the course of the discussion. And so let me go straight to him and say a very big welcome to you, Doc.
Thank you, Kennedy.
We are grateful to have you in our studios tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, tell us about the Pink Month, the month of pink. Every year we hear about it, we see a lot of activities, a lot of screening takes place for women and all that. And we are not told whether the numbers are dwindling or they are rather perhaps increasing. Tell us about the Pink Month.
Thank you, Kennedy, and then good evening to your viewers and listeners. Yeah. The Pink Month, or the Pink October, actually started in 1985 celebrated in the United States of America as a National Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right.
It was a movement by some women, led by the former First Lady of the United States of America, who herself was a survivor of breast cancer. Yes. So that movement basically had the aim or the purpose of creating awareness about the existence of the disease, as well as women, institutions, everybody involved, churches, companies, presenting themselves for early screening and early detection of the disease.
Right.
So that they found that it was preventable and was curable. So it gained more prominence in the 90s and up to date worldwide. It is being celebrated as the October Rosa or October Pink Month.
Right.
And it is a month basically to share information about breast cancer, to eliminate the myth and misconception about the disease, to project the availability of screening facilities and services available within the facilities or within the country, and then encouraging people to come for testing.
Right.
So basically that is what the Pink October is all about.
It's about. Yes. All right. Okay, and I know it's always a month-long celebration. Yes. Tell us the specifics. What is AIMA in particular doing, in this month of Pink?
All right. So recently, it's not just about breast cancer. Most people, it also affords the opportunity to share information about other cancers that women are more vulnerable. One of them is the cervical cancer. Yeah. Cervical cancer basically is being celebrated also annually in February. So we try to put the two together and then promote the awareness for both. Now, in AIMA in specifics, you've seen that a lot of health institutions have just posted, this facility A goes pink for October, facility B goes pink. That is just the screening. It has a triple assessment feature. Right. The screening involves we encouraging women to monthly do self-breast examination, especially after their menstruation. If they have ceased menstruation, pick a particular day of the month and examine their breast. Right. That is one aspect. The second aspect is you presenting yourself annually to a health facility for you to be examined clinically. And most health facilities are providing such services where women of certain age group present themselves for them to be examined. But it appears it ends there. Okay, just self-examination and being screened or examined in the hospital. But it goes beyond that. The movement talked about availing yourself for screening as well as having the means to do the diagnostic test that comes with it. Because if a woman comes and you examine that she has a breast lump, it doesn't end there. Right. You need to offer her some imaging, like a scan or mammogram, or sometimes taking a biopsy. And that is where AIMA comes in. AIMA has set up a whole oncology unit, not just a month celebration, but all year round. We have the pink room. Right. We have situated a pink room that does cancer screening throughout the whole year. Wow. So you just walk into AIMA and then say you are going to the pink room, and then would be able to assist you. They've also set up a multi-task and multidisciplinary group where you have an oncologist, anesthesiologist, gynecologist, general surgeon, cancer nurses who are manning that particular unit. So you skip the waiting time. There are times that you go to a facility, you are asked to go to another facility to do a scan or do a mammogram. You come back, you are now referred to go and see another doctor.
But at AIMA, you have a one-stop shop.
Like one-stop shop. Okay. Everything is there. Once you assess, the necessary referrals are done within the department and we get it done for you. Now, the other thing about AIMA is that we have highly discounted and subsidized this imaging procedures because one of the impediments, we've seen that awareness is there. We have disseminated information to a lot of people. People know about breast cancer, but their response to screening is very low. Very low, yeah. So what are the impediments? Why are these women not coming forward to do this imaging? It's cost. It's the economic aspect of it. Right. So that is what AIMA comes in. AIMA is saying that, look, we have identified that the major challenge has been people coming forward to pay for services. Yeah. So we have highly discounted and subsidized this imaging procedures that women have to go through for diagnosis. Yeah. And it doesn't even end at the month of October. Like I said, we have extended it to February. Right. This kind of discount that is available. Yeah. We've extended it to encourage more women to come. Okay, encourage more women to let them know their risk assessment. Once you walk in, it's not just about imaging. We assess your risk to breast cancer as well as cervical cancer. And then once we give you that education, as to what causes it and what you can do to prevent it. We offer you the examination, and then whilst a lump or something is picked up, we can offer you the imaging. These imaging are done depending on your age. You don't have to feel a lump for you to be diagnosed with the breast cancer. In fact, most breast cancers are diagnosed with that lumps. It is this imaging that are able to pick it up early. And once it's picked up, we can offer you that preventive and curative therapies that are available. So AIMA stands tall on that, that we have extended these discounted prices even to the month of February. Okay, so we are also offering community services. In fact, this month, Pink Day fell on the 22nd of October. Now, on the 21st, we went to Malamata Market, where we screened over 250 women. We were able to pick up about 40 people, over 40 people who had breast lumps. We offered them that opportunity to come to our facility to get this imaging and other examination done for them. On 22nd, we visited.
Was this part of your
yes, it's our corporate social responsibility. And it's going to run till the month of the month. In fact, next week, we have other places to attend. Some churches have invited us, and anybody who wish to come as a group. I said the movement didn't deal with health facilities. It's about Metro TV saying that all our females should present themselves for screening.
Absolutely.
All right? Like any institution can present themselves. I mean, we celebrate our women and make sure that they are safe and they are well screened. So as part of it, we went also to Community 1 Market. We screened over 170 women. We picked up more than 50 people with lump, including 2 men who had breast lumps. And we also referred them to the facility for further imaging. So this is what AIMA is offering the people of this country. That just come to our center, ask of the pink room, and you'll be screened, and then you'll be imaged. And then we can give you the appropriate counseling that comes with it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed, Doc. But let me find out, when you were in your earlier submission, you made mention of the fact that once the women have their menstruation, they should check for. Is there a link between one having the menstruation and then breast cancer?
No, there is really no link per se. What I'm trying to say is that there's a self-examination where, you know, sometimes people have what we call cyclical massage. Whilst you are menstruating, you'll be having tenderness in the breast and things, and we mask the screening process. So we would want you to finish your menses, and then once you finish your menses, you can now examine the breast properly. In fact, in relation to menses, it's been linked that people who have early menses, who started their menses very early, we call it early menarche, and people who delay in near menopause are more prone to having breast cancer because of unopposed actions of estrogen. In fact, one of the factors that I've identified to causing breast cancer is high levels of estrogen. So people who have had earlier menses or started menses at a very early stage, and people who after 52 years and over have still not menstruated, we offer that kind of counseling. So there are risk assessment, and these people are part of it. But for purposes of self-examination, we normally will encourage that they wait after 7 days from start of menses and get their breast examined. And when they feel anything, it's on a monthly basis. And then on an annual basis, when there's this whole celebration, you can present yourself to any clinic to get it examined properly by an expert.
Okay, very well. So, and you also mentioned the fact that you, in your Community 1, event, you picked 2 men with lumps. Tell us about men with breast cancer.
It's a
men and breast cancer.
It's a very rare occurrence, but it's available. It's not a common feature of you seeing breast cancer in men. In fact, once it's commoner in men who haven't married before. I mean, and then also people who have had previous breast pathologies in one breast or both of them. And also some people have what we call a tumor in their testicles. We call it testicular tumors. They are also prone to having breast cancer, as well as people who are on hormonal therapies. There are some cancer diseases that you are placed on hormonal therapies. And one of them is like prostate cancer. So the more you take this medication, it's also predisposed you to men of having that. People who take high estrogen, some replacement therapies or hormonal drugs for one reason or the other. And this day and age where there is transsexual issues and all that, people from male to female and all that, they are put on certain medications, and these are all predispositions to having breast cancer. But it's a very rare occurrence. Yes, but just for men to understand that, yes, it is there. So you can also be examining your breast or present yourself. And it usually present very late. In fact, it's not commoner like breast cancer in women below the ages of 50 and all that. This usually is advanced in age, like the 70s, that's when you pick up people. And usually it's advanced in nature. So men in their advanced age are also encouraged to be examining their breasts for these lumps.
Yes. Okay. So we have a video from AIMA. It's on breast cancer. We'll take a look at it. And then when we come back, Doc, you tell us about the causes and treatments for breast cancer, and then we shall wrap up and then zoom into our main discussion for tonight. So let's take that video.
2.3 million women were diagnosed globally with breast cancer last year.
Only 66% of women diagnosed with cervical cancer live beyond 5 years.
Don't be a statistic.
Have you ever felt something unusual in your breast?
Do you bleed in between your periods?
A regular checkup will reassure you.
A pap test is preventive.
Even if it feels like nothing,
make sure
before you regret it.
A regular checkup is your first line of defense.
Forget your fears.
Treatment is possible.
Life comes first.
Don't throw your life away.
Life is wonderful
and full of hope.
Your health is important.
Protect it.
The pink and green ribbons
have hope in their colors.
Life goes on.
No matter what happens,
leave a mark behind.
Pink and green in color.
Hand in hand.
We support our campaign in every way.
Break away from any doubt
and be part of AIMA's Pink October.
Our campaign is for our society
and for those close to our hearts.
You are present and our future.
Because you are important to me.
Listen to my advice.
The sooner you act,
the sooner you eradicate breast and cervical cancer.
Early diagnosis helps 98% of women survive.
Be one of them.
Encourage your friends to get a checkup.
Our fear is the disease.
Let's put an end to it.
With knowledge.
Even if you do not have a family history.
The danger of breast cancer is still there.
And if your family is important to you,
book a checkup.
There's nothing to lose.
With an examination,
and we are with you.
Step by step.
We all have to be part of Pink October.
Do whatever it takes
to stay
with the people you love.
There is no shame in illness.
But there is shame in ignoring it.
Your health is your safety.
And treatment
is all we urge you to do.
Book an appointment now on AIMA's number 054-749-4254.
Get a free clinical breast exam at the International Maritime Hospital.
Enjoy discounted rates on our mammograms, breast ultrasounds, pap smears, and HPV DNA testing.
Get a gift voucher for your wife, mother, and all the women you cherish.
We are with you.
Detect it.
Treat it.
Defeat it.
Beautiful, video there from AIMA. Thumbs up to the team over there. Doc, kudos to you guys. So tell us now about the causes of breast cancer.
Okay. So there are several risk factors to developing breast cancer. Some of them you can control or reduce it. The others are unavoidable. You can't do anything about it. Okay, so I said that the disease is very prevalent among women. So once you're a woman, gender is it's certain that you are at risk of breast cancer. And the other thing is to do with advancing age. Once you age, your risk of breast cancer is higher. So these ones, you don't really have control over it. So all you need to do is to come for risk assessment, and you'll be doing the routine screening, which we'll talk about. The other issue is to do with family history.
Right.
Yes, if you have a strong family history, first degree relatives with breast cancer or any form of cancer, being ovarian cancer or colorectal cancers, you are at risk. So it's for you to also submit or subject yourself for routine screening. The other causes or predisposition or risk factors to breast cancer is your reproductive capabilities. If you delay in childbirth, if you haven't given birth before as a lady, if you started your menses quite early, you are delaying in going into menopause. These are all issues that may also put a risk to it.
Right.
There are also environmental factors, that may predispose you to breast cancer. One of them is excessive alcohol intake. Smoking is a factor to that. The use of lifestyle issues like Western diets, okay, high saturated fat foods and all that. So diet itself may predispose you.
Right.
And there's also hormone replacement therapies. Like people in menopause where they are having menopausal symptoms and things, they are put on some hormone replacement therapy. All this, if it's not being monitored, it's been shown that because of the unopposed actions of estrogen, your doctors can direct you as to what medications you can take and what you cannot take. So these are some of the things that may, but there's no one singular cause of breast cancer. But there are just a combination of several factors but that may lead to that. And obesity. Obesity is also one feature of breast cancer. So good lifestyle as well as exercises, it helps reduce. These are things that can reduce the risk of breast cancer. Yes.
All right, finally, Doc, tell us about the treatment of breast
Treatment
cancer.
is readily available, but the focus of AIMA is health prevention and maintenance clinic that we run. We don't want you to come in a very late stage, advanced stage of the disease where, we can't offer much. So that's the whole awareness that is being done on a yearly basis is to tell people to come in very early. For breast cancer, if you are between the ages of 20 to 39, we encourage that you do self-examination and present yourself every 3 yearly to get it done. Worst case scenario, we'll get a scan done for you. But if you're above 40 years, we advise an annual mammogram check on your breast because this is the only mammogram that can pick up asymptomatic without any signs. You can't pick up a lump, but the mammogram will be able to pick up early stages of the cancer and offer you the treatment. The treatment can just be a simple, what we call lumpectomy. We will remove the lump and that's just about it. We can just do a simple mastectomy where we remove the breast and that's that thing. Sometimes you combine the surgery with radiations and chemotherapy and hormonal therapy. We don't want to get to that stage of it. Okay, those ones can be very, very devastating. So we encourage all women that the treatment is available, but early detection is the only preventable defense that is available to all women. So we encourage all women above the ages of 40 to just walk into our facility and get a mammo done. Any woman who notices any lump or any kind of sign that is unusual through self-examination can present themselves. Don't wait till the month of October. You can always walk in anytime and it's assessed by the pink room.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Eric Kosa. He is an obstetrician gynecologist at the International Maritime Hospital, joining us in the studio tonight to talk about Pink October, where premium and emphasis is placed on women, particularly with regards to breast cancer and cervical cancer. We appreciate you for your time tonight, Doc. We thank you so much for taking time off to come and join us to discuss this. I'm sure from time to time you would pass by so we can enlighten and educate the public more on the need for them to come and then get this, screening done, so that they can reduce the risk of breast cancer and cervical cancer. We appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. Yes.
I'm grateful.
Right. So we are going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we are zooming straight into our main discussion for tonight. Please stick and stay.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's time for us to zoom into our discussion, our main discussion for tonight. And like I told you earlier, it's about cybersecurity. Now, we would have heard that in the course of the year, South Africa suffered a huge loss in its ports when, hackers went into their systems and then ravaged the systems, bringing the whole ports down to their knees. And the impact was so catastrophic. You wouldn't wish any port to experience such an incident. Now, some of the shipping lines, well-known shipping lines, also experienced, some of these attacks. And so tonight we're trying to examine Ghana's new Cyber Act, that's Act 1038, and its impact on maritime activities in our country. We have some distinguished personalities in our studios tonight to discuss this particular topic. We have Mr. Osei Bonsu-Dixon, Esquire. He's lawyer and director legal at the Ministry of National Security. Before that, he was chief legal advisor at the National Security Council Secretariat and national coordinator of the Government of Ghana's Security Governance Initiative, SGI. He focuses on international cyber, maritime, and border security. He educated at the University of Ghana, Harvard University, and the Ghana School of Law. He's the author of 3 books and is a respected lawyer and expert among others, cyber law, maritime security, and national security strategy. In fact, he's also popularly known widely as Ghana's #1 national security lawyer and the Apostle General of the Cyber Security Act. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Dixon, for joining us in the studios tonight.
Thank you.
I think I got to know you in Koforidua when the National Integrated Maritime Strategy was being discussed, yes, and Kennedy. You were chairman for the occasion.
Absolutely. Kennedy, yes.
You're welcome to Iron Port.
And thank you so much.
We also have a second guest. He is Mr. Jibril Richter Mohammed. He's a research fellow with the Center for Strategic and Defense Studies Africa, CSDS Africa, and he specializes in cyber matters and security governance. Thank you very much, Jibril, for joining us.
Thank you.
We are appreciative of the fact that you obliged us this evening. So let me come straight to you and ask, first of all, why it is that you are called the Apostle General of Ghana Security, Cyber Security Act.
Well, I think it's coming from a number of colleagues of yours in the media industry. I mean, we have been, over the last couple of years, been looking at a situation where rule of law on maritime matters, particularly also on cyber matters, would become mainstream in Ghana. And so I think it's out of some of those engagements that a couple of your own colleagues have been creating, these kinds of epithets and terms and things like that. So that is it.
Right. Okay, so I will still stay with you and want you to tell us about the Ghana's new Cybersecurity Act 1038.
Okay.
What is it?
Okay, so thank you. So mainly with the CSA or the Cyber Act. So the Cyber Act is actually about 130 sessions document that is holed up in about 67 pages. And it has several headings, about 17 headings, and also has three schedules to it. some of the main headings, for example, are the creation of, for example, the cybersecurity authority itself. And then also the Act looks at the governance of the authority. It looks at its financial composition, how it raises funds and the like. It also looks at a number of thematic matters. For example, I mean, the area of child protection, online protection in particular, and then also at very important issues that Ghanaians are concerned with, which is the CII, the critical information infrastructure. It also creates a number of offenses that are very germane to current discussions, particularly in the cyberspace environment, and also provides what I would call tall tools. Now, when I say tall tools, I'm referring to legal tools. I'm referring to technical tools. I'm referring to operational tools. Puts the other way around, technical, operational, and legal tools. And these things are to facilitate cyber investigation, cyber prosecution in Ghana, and then you have to realize that, I mean, the issue of cyber festers around cooperation. Without cooperation, you can't do much. And in an environment in which we have a reason globally to be worried, or regionally or nationally to be worried, I think this is a kind of act that we need. And we must give a lot of credit to the sector minister, the Honorable Estla Owusu, the Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, and also the National Cybersecurity Technical Working Group, and perhaps also to national security, because from the Security Governance Initiative, we have been very much facilitative or supportive of the process, both when it came to issues of ratifying like Budapest, when it came also to cyber risk management, and also putting it also as front burner items within Ghana's national security space.
Right.
You know, yes.
All right. So let me come to Jibril. First of all, tell us about CSDS Africa, where you work.
Okay, so thank you very much for this opportunity. CSDS is a leading organization in the field of cybersecurity, maritime security, and border security. We research, we advocate, and consult on complex matters in the field of security. We build capacity, we collaborate with other stakeholders in the region when we, to help build Africa's capacity when it comes to these security matters. Primarily, we are focusing. We have a whole department for cybersecurity, and this is the cybersecurity month, and we are working. We are trying to develop Ghana's capacity and the region as a whole to fight the problem that we face right now. That is the cybersecurity, cyber crimes.
Right. Now, you are a research fellow. You have been doing a lot of research in this regard. Tell us how prone our country is in terms of, you know, some of these attacks, you know.
Like the apostle of the Cyber Security Act said, we have a reason to be worried. You know, we are connected. Everybody is connected to the internet now, including maritime activities. Yes, and the cyber criminal has to be correct just once, has to be right just once for him to be able to cause the catastrophe. You know, but the cyber security analyst has to be correct all the time, you know, so it creates some kind of imbalance. Yes, and I in the beginning you mentioned that in South Africa there was yes. So I want to point us to another one just in South Africa too. It happened in Johannesburg City, where one morning the workers went to work, and when they switched on the computer, they had a message that your data or your files has been locked. You need to pay 4 bitcoins.
That's ransom?
Ransomware, yes. That's what I'm talking about. So you realize that we need to be worried. You understand? We need to start building a capacity to be able to fight it, because since you're connected to the net, you are prone to attacks from within, you are prone to attacks outside, because you are connected to the net. So we have a reason to be worried.
All right, so let me come to you, Mr. Dixon, for an overview of the new Maritime Security Act and why you think it matters to the maritime industry.
Okay, so for a number of reasons. So let me preface what I'm saying with a general realization that the maritime sector rides on ICT. The maritime sector has increasingly achieved efficiency, profitability, and also effectiveness by like getting into matters like paperless ports, by getting into issues that have to do with e-transactions, as well bill of ladings and all those kinds of rates in every operation within the maritime sector is actually down to electronics, down to cyber matters, ICT issues and things like that. With increased dependence comes increased vulnerability. And that is the reason why, like Jibril was saying, I mean, there's a reason to be worried. Because with that huge dependency, so if you pick, for example, like port shipping, or you pick, for example, navigation, ship navigation, all these things have migrated to a digital space. They're using electronic infrastructure and things like that. Apart from that one also, the sea itself is a bed for a lot of infrastructure. So you have seismic activity that go on at sea, exploratory activities. Apart from that also, you also have subsea infrastructure. So you have a lot of the cabling. I mean, today we're using internet, nanotechnology and all those kinds of things. But a lot of the cabling that goes on are actually subsea infrastructure. And so these things need to be protected. The Cybersecurity Act, for example, Section 35(2) of it, requires that the Minister for Communication and Digitization declare by notice entities that are to be designated in this country as critical information infrastructure. And if you look at that particular section, she actualized that on the 22nd of September.
Just this year?
Sorry, yes, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, well, just a couple of
months ago, weeks ago.
Yes, we're in October right now, so that's just our last month. When the notice of designation, and it came with 13 areas. National security and intelligence systems were, for example, number one. And then you have water, you have those in ICT, you have those. So a lot of those kinds of areas are areas that implicate maritime matters. So the maritime industry has its hands, its foot, and its heart actually in the act itself. Now, there are issues to do with maritime offenses also. Now, it's rare these days to find any offense that is committed without a digital element to it. And if you come to the area of generic attacks also, you would find, for example, you mentioned the ransomware issue. Now, ransomware is today globally the most feared area of the cyber attacks because right from 2016, it has been rising to about now, I think it's about, the global is over about 465 million, and that is something that one should be concerned about. So your whole system gets encrypted and you have to pay to decrypt it. So that poses a problem. And the Act actually seeks to provide resiliency, provides the structures. So it creates, for example, a response mechanism through the national set, the Ghana set, and then sectorial set. So even in the maritime industry, your set will be the maritime security, the maritime set. The set is a computer emergency response team. So there are those kinds of issues. And I talked about ransomware. There are also the DDoS attacks issues. The denial of service issues. And then also malwares, which have become staple for those who are interested in causing a lot of denial of service or expropriation or extortion and things like that. So the Act mainly sets out to give a trinity of powers. Technical powers, for example, and then the creation of also the cybersecurity authority, you understand, and equipping it with those technical powers. So some of those powers might implicate, for example, takedown of offending websites and the like. It also comes with operational tools. And these operational tools would mean some of the legal infrastructure that they need. It comes out with also legal tools, freezing assets where appropriate and so on and so forth. The maritime industry, therefore, has a lot actually going for it when it comes to the Act. When you read the Act makes reference to about 11 other instruments. For example, the Criminal Offences Act, the Evidence Decree, the Mutual Legal Assistance Act. It makes reference to the Electronic Transactions Act, the Electronic Communications Act, the Data Protection Act, and so on and so forth. And so you begin to realize that, I mean, the whole area of, like I said, rule of law within the cyberspace is something that the Act takes Ghana to a very important level. Now, let me say this one too. You would realize also that in a not too distant past, we were rated very lowly. I mean, if you take about 10 years ago, we were very much in the woods. Today in Africa, thanks to the work of the Cybersecurity Authority or the minister herself, Ghana today is rated number 3 after Mauritius, after Tanzania. Okay. We are number 3. That is a milestone that is worth commending. And it's all because of also the passage of the act. Because if you come to the ITU level, ITU, the International Telecom Union, they are concerned with a number of things. The legal infrastructure is one. The technical response infrastructure is also very, very key. In these areas, we have awareness creation and cooperation. I mean, we signed, for example, the Malabo Convention, we've signed, for example, Budapest, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole lot of areas in which the Act has actualized many of the things that have been done over the last couple of years.
All right. So let me come to you, and Jibril, and find out from you what maritime activities and entities you think should be concerned about this particular new Security Act.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, thank you. As a matter of fact, all organizations that trade, that they use the port, so private businesses and also public or government agencies like Ghana Shippers Authority, all these, because, you know, the way the cyber criminals work is that they can target you through a third party. So maybe you have very strong security, but then they know that the one you are dealing with or the one that you trade with doesn't have that kind of security. So they go through there. So what they can do is that they fix a malware that will create a backdoor in your system. That's what we call man in the middle. And then the cyber criminal will be communicating to you. Purporting to be the trusted, you know.
Right.
Exactly. So all entities that operate in the maritime sector, okay. So not just, let's say, the Ghana Shippers Authority, but those that Ghana Shippers Authority deal with also have to be concerned. You understand? Exactly. So if it, we also have to consider our naval security, you know. Because if it's also part of the CI, as the Apostle said, it's part of the CI, the critical information infrastructure that's in the defense. So if that part too is compromised, I can tell you the danger that we are in. Yes.
All right. Okay, so let me come to you, Mr. Dixon, and find out what major cybersecurity threats we face here in this country. Have you taken time to examine those that we are more prone to?
Okay, so I would have wished that one would be directed at Jibril because, I mean, they have been doing fit work on those kinds of things. But obviously, matters to do with cyber fraud, for example, is very much on the ascendancy.
Right.
So a lot of fraudulent practices are going on using cyberspace. And I'm sure maybe Jibril will give highlights of those ones. Then also issues to do with phishing attacks, I mean, and then spoofing. I mean, people trying to get into the emails of others and pretending that those emails are being sent from authorized sources or from those kinds of people. So these are things that are, we're seeing people, for example, at our end, I mean, the Security Governance Initiative, I mean, our own research indicates that issues to do with mobile money, transactions or transactional matters are areas too that are increasingly seeing cyber criminals or crooks want to double in. We're also seeing, particularly during the COVID period. So the COVID period has been a watershed for criminality at a gargantuan level. You know, criminality at a very huge level. We've had a lot of, how do you call it, people migrate to be giving sending fraudulent messages purporting to come from trusted sources to people so that they will click onto links that are sent to them. Now, the intention is that some of these links ask you, so for example, we will say that, oh, a number of people, or maybe there's a COVID center at this place and they are offering, vaccination for people in your community. And so if you, would click on the link down below, you can fill in. Now, what those things seek to do is to appropriate your credentials. So your name, date of birth, and other email addresses and things like that. So these are being harvested. And then they can get into other forms of criminal activities with you. So we're seeing an explosion, at least along those lines.
All right. I'll come to you, Jibril, to have your take on that. But let me still stay with you and find out whether we have some figures to share in terms of how successful these attacks have been, the level of success of some of these attacks, and how much money they've been able to siphon or to steal from their victims.
In terms of the statistics, I think it's a work in progress. So it's, for example, I mean, if you pick the police cyber crime unit, they have come out with ranges between 50 to about 100. I think those things are about 100 million over the years, you understand. And some, but this has spread over a certain period. The current statistics on them, I think, is still a work in progress. I mean, I don't think that we have yet nailed that type of, But what we do know is the indications or that there's a rather an upsurge or an increase due to like some of the factors that I mentioned. I mean, people trying to profit out of catastrophes that have arisen, like you talked about COVID, for example, and people trying to find ways of getting people to credential on their platform so that they can harvest and so those type of things are. But as to the actual figures, I think that down the line this year, perhaps those kinds of figures, but we are seeing, like I said, rather an upsurge rather than a diminution in these criminal behaviors. Yes.
There are some others whose main target would be ATM cards and all that. Once they have access. Recently, a guy was arrested here who was trying to travel out of the country with over 600 ATM cards, of different with different names and all that. Is that also part? Would you describe that also as cybersecurity?
Yes, exactly. So those things fall directly under cybercrime matters. So the issue that you are dealing with traverses not only ATM cards. I mean, it also comes to do with like data that people put and make available with respect to credit card details, things like that, debit card details, and so on and so forth. So those are all matters which are very current. I mean.
All right. Okay, so let me come to you, Jibril, and have your take. Mr. Dixon feels that you would have perhaps better perspectives and insights into this particular
threat. Yes, the threat that we face, like you said, are gargantuan. So
quite enormous.
Yes, cyber criminals are able to take care of social situations and technological advancement as well. So the social aspect is that. So recently we just suffered COVID. Now, one thing that happened recently was that some cyber criminals purport or pretend to be legit businesses and apply for reliefs and loans. So they are taking advantage of the pandemic. Some to create their own social scholarship accounts. So you apply for scholarship, you put in your details, and then they get all those things. They also have what we call email spoofing or email cloning, where like you have Metro TV website, they'll create a photocopy of Metro TV, and then they used to do business. They have that for Netflix, where you key in, you put in your data, you pay with your bank details, and then they get those information. Yes, and then with the technological advancement. So before, like something like ransomware, you will need to, for you to pay the money, you need to go to the bank, which is traceable. But now they charge, like the Johannesburg case that I mentioned, they are charging using Bitcoins. So that one you can't trace. So as technology advances, they also advance their things. So that's why we have to be worried.
All right. So maritime organizations in Ghana are quite vibrant and effective.
Right.
Now, if one senses a threat, a cybersecurity threat, what should that organization do?
Okay, so for example, so you do have, like I said, there's a new instrument in town, I mean the Cyber Act. And the Cyber Act tries to create a number of sets, that is computer emergency response teams. And so you have the Ghana set, which is the national one, and then you have sectorial sets. So under sectorial sets, entities that have been designated as CIIs have a 24-hour duty to report any significant cyber occurrence, incident that happens with them to the Cyber Security Authority. So that is a kind of normative structure that the Act has created. They also need to also inform their own sectorial sets so that action can be taken because of the peculiarities of different sets. So a financial set, for example, which incorporates banking and banking infrastructure institutions will be different from those in the maritime sector, for example, or will be those different from those in maybe air transport, aviation matters and the like. So there's a graded system in which you escalate the information, but you should respond within the 24-hour rule, which the new Act requires.
Yeah, I know. We at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, we have the IT unit. Intermittently, they send us messages and says this particular message is going round. Don't click on the link.
Okay.
It's dangerous. And so there's that awareness, and they are always, up on their game as and when they suspect anything. It goes round, they circulate it and say, look, this is dangerous. It's not from an authorized source, so don't click on this link. If you click, there's going to be trouble. Exactly. And I think that maybe most other organizations should emulate that so that once the IT teams are up and doing, they will be able to mitigate any impact if there's going to be any, if there are any such threats that's targeted at the
so that's
organizations. So let me find out from you, Act 1038, how far has it come? Is it in effect at the moment? Or what's the stage it has reached?
Okay, so right now, so it's part of Ghanaian instruments. So it's part of our legal structure, our legal regime now. And like I said, so the Act actually ties in. In fact, if you look at Section 1.1 of the Act, which is this preliminary section, it ties in 11 other instruments. So it ties them in the sense that most of these other laws, like the General Offences Act that we have, I mean the Criminal Offences Act, the evidence decree, might not have envisaged certain circumstances that would be virtual. So this Act actually deals with e-crimes, virtual acts, and it ties them in so that if those acts are done within an electronic environment, they clearly are the subject matter for criminal prosecution, easy criminal prosecution. Because in the past, some of the difficulties that Ghana has had is that it's been quite difficult to prosecute some offenses because unless you have specified it in a written law, you cannot actually prosecute it.
Okay.
There also another important aspect of it, which is the creation of a cyber fund under the Act. So you realize that Ghana has a dedicated funding mechanism.
You continue, just hold your fire. Okay. My producer tells me the phone lines are buzzing, and I think this is a good time for us to activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. And so the number to dial is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Yes, please flow, Mr.
Okay, so mainly I was saying that there's also this dedicated funding mechanism that the government of Ghana has made space for within the Act. So there's a cyber fund, into which Ghana can at least entrust monies to be able to keep industry, surveillance, industry, education, awareness question by the general public, and then any other consequential acts going, improve the industry, you understand? And I think that's a very good thing. There's also the issue of international cooperation, which is also clearly spelled out within the Act. Section 83 of it deals with that particular issue. You can't fight this alone. And of course, in the area of security, security is a team sport. And when I say team sport, I mean that different players play different roles to achieve a common goal. So you need to have synergies with others. And if you look at the composition of the governing council of even the cybersecurity authority, you see our national readiness. So you see, for example, the Minister for Communication and Digitization there. You see also the Minister for National Security. You see the Minister for Defense also there. You see the
Attorney General, maybe?
Attorney General. You see all those kinds of people.
Okay. All right, so hold your fire again. Let's go onto the phone lines and welcome John from Wager. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much indeed, John. Please flow.
Yes, I'm trying to contribute to what Gabriel was just trying to elaborate on.
Right.
I think that with the issue of cyber attacks that has to do with cloning or people using links that are not the right links, misleading people to get their data at the back door. It also has to do with communication, because most of the institutions are failing to have an upright communication when it comes to information. Why am I saying this? For example, there has been for some time now that Coca-Cola, for example, is giving out some release. Now, you try to reach Coca-Cola for them to come out to debunk that particular link that is circulating on various websites. Then you see, you find it difficult to even have access to the institution of which its name has been used for this cloning. So I think that when we want to tackle on the issue of cyber, it must first start from the access to communication, access to the companies that are involved. So that when every company has access to the link to, I think that when I, as a cyber expert, I am more into cyber. If I get to understand that a website has actually been cloned in the name of Metro TV, I can at least call Metro TV and get an apt response that Metro TV, there is a link circulating on the various, and if not, it will only take the staff of Metro TV to call Metro TV for them to believe that what John is saying is really true. And I think if we want to solve some of this problem, this is where it should go on. But with the issue of the third party malware, I think the country as a whole, as an act like this is being passed, there should be some kind of sensitization for us to also understand how do we manage our various platforms that we go on. I have an email, the email in which that is, do you know that of late we introduce new domain names that exist, and the country, the Ministry of Communication or whichever is in charge of ICT, does not even take consent to find out these domains that are trooping into the country. How do we monitor them? Where are they coming from? Where are the DNS coming from? Who are the main authorization of those DNS? We don't have. So I think that it must start from somewhere, and that is where we need to. Communication and those responsible should also get to see where are these things coming from. When we have this as a gateway, I think that those internal innocent people that want to do their business online will have some fair ground to play and with safety.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, John, from Wager, for your call. We appreciate it. I think that was a very, very, lucid, what do we call it, submission he made there. And,
I agree.
Yes, absolutely. I think I agree. I agree with John so much. So, Jabril, let me come to you and find out what entities in the maritime industry you think should be doing to protect themselves from some of these attacks. I just told you one basic one that GPHA IT team, what they do. Sometimes when they suspect something fishy is going on.
Yes, I am glad you even, because I was even going to refer to that it's a mistake that we usually make. We leave cybersecurity to the IT guys because they know the technical thing. But then the hacker also knows that you think that the IT guy would be the, so then he will start from the receptionist, because the receptionist doesn't have training with ICT. Yes. So what organizations need to do rather is to have general training for all the employees. So you don't leave it to the IT guys, but then you prioritize cybersecurity. You can't leave the physical gates open. That's the same way you can't leave your cyberspace open to any attack. You understand? Yes. And then so first you have to do awareness creation that these are the things that could happen.
I'll come back to you, but let's welcome Elvis from Sunyani to the discussion. Good evening, Elvis.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Please flow.
Sir, please, thank you for the chance to speak about this issue. I must commend Jibril for the education that he's giving the public.
Thank you.
That is very good.
Thank you very much.
My main issue is that I want to ask Jibril if there are other opportunities for the youth to get chances that they can educate themselves more on these cybersecurity issues. If there are schools available, there are courses available, and I want to ask the Director of National Security if they have made sure that in the villages or in the urban areas, rural areas rather, where people are being mass frauded on these cyber spaces or Momo and all stuff, are there interventions or measures in place at the various police stations? Do we have knowledgeable or skilled detectives enough to be able to address issues at that level, not really going to headquarters or stuff? And I want to tell people that this thing is real, and if they don't take care and control their cyber space, they might get hurt and things will get loose. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Elvis, I think that I'll push that one to you, Jibril. He's finding out whether, there are any institutions that they can go and learn more about this phenomenon of cybersecurity and all that.
Yes, they can come to CSDS. So we also provide training courses in cybersecurity law, cybersecurity itself, and then cyber crimes. So you get to know more about these things. We research, and then we also you will be you experience live hacking demonstrations of, you will see how the hackers think. So if you're talking about courses, yes, we also provide courses for. We also collaborate with other stakeholders like SGI. Recently, we had a training seminar with the Ministry of National Security just last week. So, yes, we do have training courses in the field of cybersecurity and cyber crimes. Yes. So,
I heard him say something about what we can do, but he wasn't very audible or very clear. So I'm not too sure I heard him. But but then there are a number of institutions that offer training in the area, and I think, like he rightly said, CSDS Africa does that kind of thing. So once there, and these days it's very easy. You just need to also go to the internet and Google it. You understand? There's a plethora of institutions, IPMC and all those kinds of bodies also offer these things. The Cybersecurity Authority can also give a lot of guidance into it, because if you look, for example, at the instrument itself, the issue about certification and even licensing. Today, if you need to practice as a cybersecurity service provider, then under Section 100 of the Act, you need to be registered with them. In fact, 3 months after the Act came into effect, you need to have registered with them. So all these bodies, actually, I'm sure, particularly also, now that we have a centerpiece, the Cybersecurity Authority, they can give a lot of support to training and certification.
Okay. I know there's an event that is coming up, CyberX. What is it about?
Okay, so, CyberX is an event built around cybersecurity for cybersecurity practitioners and for those interested in cybersecurity. And it actually traverses issues to do with cyber law, cyber crime.
Please,
and
let me cut you.
Okay.
We'll go for Sam from Oduma. He is on the line. Then when we come back, we'll continue with CyberX. Hello, Sam. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Metro TV.
Yes, thank you very much for calling in. Please flow.
Actually, this rumor making the rounds that WhatsApp will no more be working from next month. I just want to know whether it's true or not.
All right, rumor, okay. I don't know, but maybe perhaps thinks that is one of these, pranks that these cyber, fraudsters are trying to play to pull on us. Have you heard anything of that nature?
Those kind of messages usually come once in a while, but one thing that we used to tell organizations that come to consult, we tell them that usually when you receive these things, disregard it, because an organization like WhatsApp is a reputable company,
Absolutely.
and then if they have such like important messages, you won't see
Be
it
formally communicated
exactly.
to
So
its,
when you see those kind of
subscribers,
things, just disregard it. Till WhatsApp itself calls you or gives you an email that okay, this is what is happening. Even with that one, you have to do further checks.
Yeah.
Yes, because with like I said, with cybercrime, the criminal has to be right just once. So if you see something like this, keep checking till you are sure that okay, the message you are getting is authentic. Okay.
Okay, so maybe just to add a little bit to what Jibril is saying, I think I support what he's talking about, that you would need to exercise caution and not just jump onto the bandwagon because of, I mean, you, the media guys, know what is called fake news.
Yes.
Yeah. So fake news is also intended to create a lot of fear and panic in the system. And it's also sometimes intended to redirect traffic to something else, like what he's talking about. So if an organization like WhatsApp or Facebook is going to actually do what is being talked about, definitely, I mean, it would be easy to verify. You don't have to just hook, line, and sinker, swallow it. You know.
Right. So let's continue with CyberX.
Yes, so mainly, I mean, it's an industry kind of event that both the Security Governance Initiative Secretariat, SGI, and a number of institutions, including, for example, the Association of Private Investigators Ghana, I think we'll be working with the Cybersecurity Authority also on that, and then CSDS Africa, try to put together to look at cybercrime investigation and prosecution, as well as also the legal regime regarding cyber, domestic law, regional law, international law, and things. So there's an international law applicable to cyber operations, which has to do with the application of international law itself to malicious act or offensive operations coming from without. How does Ghana, for example, respond under international law?
How does Ghana respond under international law? We'll continue from there. Let me welcome Abraham from Medina, who's our last caller indeed. Hello, good evening, Abraham.
Good evening, sir.
Good, Abi. Thank you very much.
We were in campus at Kintampo, and we just vacated and came to the house. There's a rumor that our WhatsApp will end within this minute, and then you'll be there, and then a message will come to your email that you should follow this link. So how possible do you see that the link is very authentic? How would you know that the link is very, very authentic?
All right. Thank you very much, Abraham. I think that was just the last caller
what we're talking about.
Answered. Yes, I mean, it's fake news, so just disregard it. If there's a way this thing is going to happen, WhatsApp would communicate formally and officially to all of its subscribers, so you don't need to panic about it. I have not seen it, but like you have called and then the previous caller has also called, it means that there's some item of truth in what you are saying. That rumor is there, but you don't have to swallow its hook, line, and sinker like Dixon said. I mean, just you can verify. But if it is true, WhatsApp would communicate officially to all of us, to everybody that's on WhatsApp, and so don't worry about it at all. So yes.
So for the main event itself, it's a 4-day program, 2-day virtual, 2-day in person, and it traverses cybercrime, cyber law, and cyber security discussions. Then there's a 1-day of CyCon, which is like a cyber conference. So that involves some of our leading voices, pundits, and advocates or experts within the region, panel discussions on those things. It's a program that I commend to all. I think that, that kind of discussion is very much necessary. So for example, those of us in SGI, the Security Governance Initiative, one of the main areas that we focus on at national security is cybersecurity. And we've been very elemental in assisting the Cybersecurity Authority right from 2017. And the whole area of cyber, even for most lawyers, is still a beginner's game, because for most of them, either you are BC or what is it? Is it before computer or after computer and things like that. And so the practice, for example, for a number of lawyers, still first out on things like land law, first out on criminal, for even it's criminal law, it doesn't implicate maybe like e-crimes and things like that. But these days, these things are becoming implicit. So then people who should be interested in programs like this should include, one, the managers of facilities. of critical infrastructure, those who are closely tied with security intelligence facilities, those involved in the area we're discussing, maritime, those in the area of telecom, banking and things like that, so that we can, apart from that, it's a way of building your own capacity. Because as you know, Ghanaians, we're quite one of the best in the world. And we can export a lot of consulting services. We can, with various bodies, the World Bank, the UN, and so on and so forth. Our voice in Africa is deeply respected. And so I think that for those in prosecution, those investigators, those in... Now let me come to also those in IT. So red teamers, those pen testers, penetration testers, and so on and so forth. These are people who should come. Those in IT as well as those in the area of cyber itself, yes.
All right. So we have barely 4 minutes to wrap up, and I just want to find out from you, Jibril. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of vibrant maritime institutions in Ghana, who are doing so well and all that. And, we've always referred to the happenings in, South Africa. We've referred to, some of these attacks on shipping lines and all that. And these are people that we interface with on our daily, working, daily when we are in the course of our duties and all that. How much care should we exert as we deal with these people daily and as we anticipate some of these threats to come?
100% care. But before I even touch on that, I also want to stress the fact that CyberX is going to be very practical. It moves away from the theory and just talk. You will see live demonstration of hacking. You would see how to protect yourself, like using DMARC to prevent your email from being spoofed. So we would try. We are making sure that like those who participate go back with something, with some practical skills that they will use when they go back to their. And then, like you said, how careful should we be? I would say 100% because the detrimental effect of cybercrime is so grave that it could cripple, like the Johannesburg incident I referred to. The city didn't work for 24 hours. So just imagine that.
And that translates into huge sums of money.
Huge sums of money. It's going to stop businesses. So not just like businesses, so money concerning all organizations that are doing the business. You understand? And these businesses too interdepend on each other. So if one is down, it's going to slow down. Exactly. So like I said, not just one organization that needs to be careful, but all the organizations. That is why we encourage them to come to the CyberX program and then get trained. Yes, we actually have one coming up in March for organizations in the maritime sector, specifically designed for them. So yes.
Okay.
But before you just wrap up, so I've heard you talk about Johannesburg.
Yes.
So I would even want to give you a much more closer example. Liberia. So Liberia also had a similar situation.
Yes.
And if you do, you would realize that the port of Antwerp, 2011, they also had. So our port at Tema, our port in Takra, they have a genuine reason to be concerned and to take these matters up seriously. Then a whole country, Estonia, 2007, check it. Estonia, from its presidency to its banking to its telecom infrastructure, were crippled by DDoS attacks and things like that. So we're dealing with sophisticated attacks that can actually cripple a nation. And that is why you find us severely interested and active on these matters and trying to get our country very safe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Osei Dixon, Esquire, Director, Legal, Ministry of National Security and SGI Coordinator. Indeed, he's Ghana's #1 national security lawyer and the Apostle General of the Cyber Security Act. We've been discussing Ghana's new Cyber Security Act, Act 1038, and its impact on maritime activities. I would like to say a very big thanks to you as well, Jibril Richter Mohammed, who is with the CSDS. He's a research fellow at CSDS Africa. We appreciate your time, gentlemen. We are grateful to you. We believe that as and when we call on you, you'll always oblige us. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on tonight's edition of Iron Pot here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the abridged version of the show is aired on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. We say much thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, operators of the Integrated Customs Management System. My name is Kennedy Mona. Have a super week ahead and see you next week, God willing.
You're a superstar.
Thank you very much.